This is the talk of Music City Real Estate.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of Music City Real Estate,
where we educate and motivate all things real estate.
My name is Monty Moore with Realty One Group Music City.
Hey, and I'm Carey Ann with CMG Financial and my mortgage team.
Every single week, we'll be posting a new episode chock full of Nashville real estate value.
Yes, and you can follow along and subscribe at talkmusiccity.com.
Got a question for us? Ask away. Questions at talkmusiccity.com.
We are back. We're back. And we have Mr. Jason Hoover with us.
Thank you for attending here with us, Jason. We love having you as our guest.
Every week.
Co-guest speaker.
He's part of the family now.
I'm like after the marketing is done, you just get a sticker and place it on it because you forgot something.
No, you're one now.
You know, I feel, and maybe Carey Ann, I haven't talked to you about this, but I feel like it's easier with three people than it is with two, you know?
Oh. Because
when you're playing tennis with...
I'm not sure how to take that, but I'll just take it.
Carey Ann, you weren't good enough, so...
No, it's not about that, Carey Ann. It's like, okay, I can't measure up to Carey Ann. So if I with a helper,
there you go.
Maybe I can, stay in the same ballpark.
I love it.
Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we just love having you and excited to be here every week and help talk with more real estate agents and create a confidence out there. But we have an amazing sponsor and just want to share a little bit more about them. They are Music City Removal. They are the #1 junk removal service in Nashville from residential, commercial, and construction. They're experts in ridding you of junk. Their costs include labor and dumping fees without any hidden or added expenses. Whether you need a full clean out or just one item removed, they have you covered.
The Music City Removal knows the importance of respect and trust while in someone else's home. They understand the inconvenience of junk left behind by previous homeowners and tenants and are determined to provide an affordable, customer-focused junk removal service that puts you first. For a free on-site estimate, just go to musiccityremoval.com. That's musiccityremoval.com.
Yes, Music City Removal, because clutter ain't cute. And you know what's not cute is my broken washing machine.
You got a broken washing machine?
Yes, but here's the deal.
You actually use a washing machine?
What do you think? I wear dirty clothes?
No, but I thought you had people.
Oh my gosh. I
thought you had people.
They still have to use a washing machine, Monty. I love it. But let's talk about, this is what I didn't know. So this is why our friends over at Music City Removal can help me because I already purchased a washing machine for a different house that we never moved into. So I have this brand new washing machine. However, who's going to take away the other one? Right? So you've got to find somebody to take that. Now, if you buy your new one at so-and-so company, Best Buy or whatever, they come and take it and exchange it, but not if you don't have right. Or if you buy it from, off of these online services type of thing. So, hey, there you go. If you got an extra wash machine, call your friends over at Music City Removal.
Because that broken washer is not cute.
Because it's not cute.
It's not cute.
It does not keep my clothes cute. No, for sure. So what are we talking today, guys? What's the discussion all about?
So Jason knows that I talk about this regularly. We have a Monday morning huddle call in our organization, Carey Ann. It's a cool way to start the week. We bring some education, and we finish it with some inspiration. But in the middle of there, sometimes we'll do this topic called "Don't Be That Agent."
Oh, is it like it sounds like a game show?
It kind of sort of is.
No
Don't be that agent for 300, Monty.
But seriously, I've found over the years, it's one of the best ways we can learn is when we hear an example of what somebody shouldn't have done.
Sure.
Because it's a quick reminder then when we're working with our clients, look, I don't want to be that agent.
Mm-hmm.
We're all guilty of something at some point in time.
We've all had to learn somewhere along the road. So that's one of the reasons why we have our huddle call, and one of the reasons why we use this topic is I don't want our agents, the best as possible. We're all human, but I don't want our agents learning at the customer's expense. You know what I mean? Because too often that's what happens. Because, our business is so diverse. Every deal is different. I mean, I've sold thousands of homes or helped people buy thousands of homes. I don't know that I've ever sold a home. I think I just help people maybe make a decision. But, and every one of them has been different. Jason, you've been in this for a few years now. I mean, is that?
Every single one of them. Yeah. Every one of them.
And I'm sure in your business, every one of them is different.
Oh, yeah. Don't be that lender.
Don't be that lender.
Which I'm very thankful for them to be those lenders, though. I stay afloat and very busy because many, lenders are that lender.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's
You
okay
actually
too.
should promote, be that lender.
Go ahead and be that lender.
Yeah.
I'm right here. 8 days if you need me.
Afterwards, there's Carey Ann.
Too funny.
But seriously, there are some topics, after doing this for as long as I have, I see a pattern of certain things that people shouldn't do. I mean, for instance, this weekend, I had a hot property. I intentionally priced it aggressively, so we had multiple offers on the property because we had a family who had a mom with dementia. We had to work around that, but we had to hit a target date of a closing because that the builder had moved up to 2 weeks, and so we had could have been a panic, but instead we priced the property aggressively and did our thing. We had 6 offers on the table. The first one right out of the box comes to me with an approval letter, okay? An approval letter, all right? You know what an approval letter looks like, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this approval letter says something like
Look
this.
at he's bringing examples.
This, well, here's the reason why, because you don't want to be that agent. But you do want to be. Remember, you're bringing your value. It's what it's all about. Okay. Remember last week we had
Sure.
Corolla's hand on. He talks about value. What you're being hired for is value. Is your expertise. Somebody's got to drive the bus. Mm-hmm. And the problem has been many times is that maybe somebody didn't have a great experience with somebody in Jason and I's profession, and so they think they have to drive the bus. But if as a professional we make sure we're bringing great value, then the consumer can sit comfortably in the bus, whether it's the back seat or the front seat, can sit there and let us drive the bus because we're experts, okay?
Or limousine.
Or limousine.
Yes,
there you
if
go.
we're with Corollas. I love it. Yeah.
Or helicopters.
Or helicopter. So here's our approval letter. We won't mention any names because it's not about that. It's about the principle. After reviewing the information that we have, this application has been conditionally approved, subject to limitations, verifications, documentations, and conditions.
It's starting to sound like a 90s rap.
So what's it been approved for? Nothing. I mean, seriously. I mean, we're talking about, I get it. And don't get me wrong. I get it that when you're doing a pre-approval, there's some, variances there that the home has to appraise and it has to have clear
put pre
title.
in the letter. Don't just say approved.
Yeah,
Everything's verified.
Well, it's not even an approval letter, a pre-approval letter. It's not even it's a pre-qualification letter is what I would call this. Okay.
Sure.
Subject to limitations, verifications, documentations, and conditions. I just thought,
Somebody out there in Nashville with the singing songwriter movement, we should come up with a song. There needs to be a song in there.
It sounds like the beginning to Greased Lightning.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Automatic. Hydromatic.
I love it.
So and going back to that is, don't be that agent, and talking about how you can learn from this is I would almost say that the agent doesn't understand the difference
Sure.
between it, because there's a lot of people, they don't understand pre-qual and pre-approval. Is that the same
Exactly.
thing? Is it interchangeable? No, it's not.
It's not.
Well, you asked for a letter and they got one. It says approval letter. I see it right there in bold. So sometimes agents just move it on. Like it's probably in the subject line, approval letter for so-and-so, and it just got forwarded on to you type of thing.
Right.
And nobody read it, you know? So it's important to go the next step.
I read them, okay? Because my clients hired my expertise.
Sure.
And
Right.
expecting value in that, so I read the thing. So even though their offer of those 6 was one of the highest, it had very little credibility in my mind because the lending portion of it is so important, Hey,
I had a commitment letter and then they were denied 4 hours prior to. Wink, wink. So, at the end of the day, confidence is so important when it comes
Right.
to the financing piece, right? So, anybody can type anything that they want, but reading into it. And my biggest pet peeve is people say that they're approved, but then they forget to write the contingency upon selling property A or selling property B.
Yes.
We need to be truthful. Like everybody needs to know the whole story, I think, because I can't give the loan unless they do sell property A or B, right? Type of thing. So that's important. I don't have control as a lender if somebody chooses, and the reason why I say chooses, because I've had this, they choose to quit their job 2 days prior to closing. Like that's going to cause a problem.
Like that's not going to matter.
Right. That's going to be an issue. So that's a given, right? But people, when we talk about do they understand the difference, there is a pre-qualification. I recently just did a video on that. A pre-qualification is just you share to a lender what you think all of these things are, and they share back what they think you're pre-qualified for, and they provide you this letter, right? That doesn't mean anything. I mean, just throw it up in the air, you know?
Hey, we talked on the phone letter.
Yeah.
It was a great 15 minutes.
It means nothing. So that's part of the reason why we do what we do as far as pricing one aggressively, and then letting have a delayed open house. So we had 6 offers on the table, and because of this one element, this one was not chosen. Okay, and she was the first one in the door, but it was. Anyhow, I put a lot of pressure on that. So don't be that agent. Make sure that your everything is tightened down on that approval letter. Make sure. Here's another one that happened just a few weeks ago, and that is the agent. I got another hot property on the market. See, I try to position them so they're a hot property. Okay. The reason for that is so we have options. Options create power. They give options. So choices. And so in this case, one agent is asking a bunch of due diligence questions, which on one hand are, some people would think that's admirable, especially if you got a certain personality type. They like that. And so she was asking, well, who did the roof repair? What does the HOA cover? A bunch of things like that. Who did the paint job? All this kind of stuff, all the due diligence, because I'm sure she had somebody who wanted the details. The other person, because remember, this has only been on the market 2 days, the other person brought in a full price offer, no concessions, ready to close, clean as it can be. So a few days later, she comes back with all of her answers, and she said, okay, my folks are ready to put an offer on. Don't be that agent. There wasn't an offer. There wasn't an option anymore. She didn't have an option for her folks who loved the property, but they got caught up in the minutia of questions that could have been answered during the due diligence period. That's what that's for. It's not just for an inspection period, Carey Ann. It's for everything else that might be of interest. Okay, what's the utility bill? How old is the roof? How old is the air conditioner? All these silliness people sometimes think they have to find the answers to. Well, if nothing else, make it subject to that offer. Right. Okay, here's a killer one. Don't be that agent. Well, I've got several of them here. I got several of them here.
When I looked at my house, I remember when I walked in, the last 3 months utility bills were sitting for me to review. Yeah. To show me kind of what the gas bill would be. Good. I think that's cool. A good idea. Yeah, that helped me know, because I was taking a leap up in square footage. So what was the difference going to be and stuff? So that might be a cool idea for people out there if they're listing a hot property. Absolutely. The other thing, as you're working through your 50, don't be that agent ideas here. But I
knew you wouldn't like this because you're every agent's advocate. I get that.
I love all agents.
But this is being an advocate, okay? It honestly is.
I know, but let me go back to your approval letter. If you are in a multiple offer situation, for you to stand up, if I was working with Jason, right? So I'm the lender with Jason's client, and we want to put an offer in on your house. And I say we, because it is, I think, a joint effort, right? You need the money with the lending, right? So I think that. So you say, hey, rumor has it, multiple offers, we're going in, we need a good fight. Now, at the end of the day, I look at my approval letter. My approval letter is what it is, right? I mean, there's a compliance requirement and blah, 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 right? There's going to have to be some things in there. However, I'm not going to, have John Travolta all over it, type of thing with all these words on it. I'm going to be very specific, right? I need to have a second pay stub, or I need to pay this off, et cetera, et cetera. Right. But what I could do in a multiple offer situation is reach out to you directly, right, as the lender, and provide that confidence to share with you, this client is in good shape. I 100% know that I'm going to be, confident to be able to get that closed. If you and I have not yet worked together, look forward to the opportunity. Here's my resume, et cetera, et cetera. Right.
So that's huge.
That would be something that people aren't, if they're not doing that, they should with their lenders, and have them go the extra step. And we've done that multiple times where we've called the listing agent. So that's just be that agent.
Be the agent.
Be that agent.
Do the positive thing. Okay. I can put that here.
I'm
be this
flipping
agent.
it to positive.
Be this agent. Okay, don't be that agent that fails to invest in the right tools for successful business. Okay, that goes way beyond business cards. Not long ago, I was...
What's a business card? Does anybody even... We have business cards?
I heard of those.
Dude, Here's a challenge here.
Aren't they virtual now? I don't even know.
No,
What's
I still
what's
I
cash?
still have cards.
I'm like, who has cash in their pocket?
Card.
Do you have cash?
You need my business card? I'll give you one.
I love it.
Here it is, right here. There it is.
Oh, wow. Look at that young, handsome man in that card.
Come on now. So, for instance, we're a big believer in open houses here, okay?
Yes.
Because open houses are, an opportunity to stage your expertise, okay? People are coming to look at property. It's amazing to me how many agents don't have the proper equipment for an open house. They don't have the signage. They want to be stingy with the signage. You know that probably, again, we're talking to realtors right now. You can almost bet that there'll be a person per sign per directional that you put out there.
Really?
Why would you
One
only
for
put
one?
Why would you put only one or two signs out there?
It's like a rock band going out without instruments.
Yeah.
Trying to play a show.
Carey Ann, would you hire me as a contractor to build you a house if I said, yeah, in just a minute, I got to go borrow my hammer and saw?
Maybe not.
What are you telling the universe when you do that? That I believe in myself? Not quite. I don't quite believe in myself, but as soon as I make some money, one toe in. Here's another one. Don't be that agent that fails to build a team of professionals around them. This is not a one-woman or one-man show. This is a team effort. And that's, of course, you got to have a good, strong lender. You got to have a great closing attorney. You got to have the great inspector. You got to have all these go-to people so you can get things done in a timely fashion when it's crunch time.
I think also having the confidence to feel like you can have that. I think some people say, well, haven't closed a lot, so I'm not ready for that. No, you're ready for that right out in the gate.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that you start with that foundation, and then, that will help you. Like, they're here to help you through. I have been in situations where the listing agent, I spoke to the seller, on a deal because she was not buying the story through the third party. So having people that are actually there to help support you is a huge win, right? That title company, insurance,
contract to
close, all of that. It takes a village to close a loan. Why not already know who you want to be working with and that complement you and believes in the same things that you do? I think that's key.
So some of the older agents have been guilty, in my observation, of telling the newer agents, look, you need to learn how to do this anyhow, so go ahead and do the first few. That's like saying, I know you're heading to California next week, so let's walk the first time there, or let's ride a bike the first time there. So
California?
Yeah. Well, I mean, why not?
I'm not doing that.
It's no different than let me work out every detail of a transaction. There's no way in the world you're ever going to get any sort of momentum. And then remember, momentum is either your friend or your enemy when you're selling real estate, and you can't ever develop momentum if you're insisting on
So what
doing
you're
all
saying
the
is
details.
have me be the contract to close person, have me be all those things. But what you're referencing is it's okay that you're not that. Already invest the money. Like Coronas told us last week, right? Like to already be budget money back into your business on the upfront. Already have that money prepared to spend back into your business. I love it.
Yeah, as soon as you get your license, you should already be talking to vendors and
absolutely
to lenders and
develop your team. It doesn't cost anything at that point.
No,
develop your team.
And guess what? You don't have any business yet, so you might as well spend that time
and
wisely
interview
building
them.
that
It's
team.
not the person that buys you the biggest dinner, or the finest fillet type of thing.
Right.
I would take it's important that you interview them, and see if they're a good complement. If they do not believe the same things that you believe, they are not the right fit for you, right?
What's their history? Well, who can
do you want to be in business with them?
It's absolutely a business relationship.
Yep.
What's the average cost of a sign?
Ours are around $75, something like that.
A piece?
You talking about a listing sign or the open house?
Open house sign.
Open house signs? Oh, you can get them for like $6-7.
Directionals,
Oh my
yes.
God. Because they're like mini billboards for your client.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For your product.
I mean, if you get the really nice, expensive ones, I mean, you're looking 15, 16.
But still, I mean, how much would a billboard cost to put up on the highway?
Unfortunately, people think that I'll never forget Zig Ziglar's old analogy. He used to carry an old water pump on stage with him, okay? Because he used it as an example of people walking up to their business and saying, walking up to this old hand pump, give me water. Give me water. What's wrong with you? Give me water. God must not want me to have water because you're not giving me water. And then he'd take the handle and start going like this. No, you've got to put motion. You've got to put action. You've got to put faith in that action before the water is going to start coming out.
Right.
I think I'm going to go buy one of those. I like that idea. I'm going to teach with that.
It was really powerful.
Because it takes hard work to do anything, right? It takes the motion to accomplish anything. So I think that's so important. What else you got on that list?
So don't be that agent that thinks it's so.
Be that agent.
No, I like don't be that agent. Okay, I think don't be that agent.
We're the zing and the zag.
Don't be that agent that thinks it's okay to list a home subject to the seller finding adequate housing. That's poor guidance. Now, why in the world, Jason, would you're showing property, and this one it has in the realtor remarks, subject to the sale, subject to a homeowner finding suitable housing. Have you ever seen that before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to encourage your client to put a contract on a house that they may not be able to have? Are you going to encourage them to spend money on an inspection and an appraisal and get all excited and emotional and order the movers and all this stuff while not knowing whether or not they can buy that house or not? You're not going to do that. Yeah. And agents should not allow that kind of, I get it that we're there to serve our clients, but listen, guys, I'm speaking to my agent friends out there. Those consumers are looking for expertise. They're looking for the value that Carolus talked about last week. They're looking for somebody who's been there and done that. If I'm going to want to go climb a mountain, I want to go find a mountain climber that has been there and done that. It's going to keep me away from the pitfalls and so forth. What happens, and we call it the 3-year-old syndrome, what happens is if the consumer doesn't feel like the bus driver knows where they're going and how to get there, that they jump over in the seat and start driving it themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens over and over again. And that's when that weaker agent is going to say, "Oh, okay, let's just make it subject to, because I know you don't want to be homeless. No, we're not going to do that, because nobody's going to commit to purchasing that house. So don't be that agent."
Okay, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Surely you have some don't be that agents or be that agents. Besides,
yeah. And I think understanding your contract is so important. Knowing what you write in there is so important. Yeah. I think sometimes you comprehend what you're writing in there is different. And so like seller pays, who's paying title, exactly what you've got in there. Also, don't put in things in your contracts like contingent upon perking for another house. Like the lender's not going to approve that, right? So if the lender does not take the time to read the contract before they submit it to an underwriter, I've seen multiple situations where people have been denied just because of contracts not being written properly, right? Wow, so, those are some things that you would want to take a pause and or communicate to the lender. Without the money, you don't have a house. So, right? Like making sure that you get the money squared away is an important piece of it.
Here's one that I've wrestled with over the years. Don't be that agent that thinks it's okay for the buyer to grind someone down during the negotiations, or having the seller that it's okay to be totally unrealistic or uncooperative. This is not a war. Okay, so often, Carey Ann, if you and I were doing a transaction together, I would say, "Look, Carey Ann, I understand that you're representing your client as the buyer. I'm representing mine as the seller, but let's do this also in the process. Let's go to a higher level and represent the integrity of the transaction, because both you and I now are going to be judged by this experience by everybody connected to it. Mm-hmm. We're all related. We're all under the same umbrella called a real estate experience." Okay, so don't let's always try to pursue win-win. And I get it. There's some folks that thinks they've just got to grind every moment of the way. But when you do that, I've seen so often, if somebody grinds and grinds and grinds to a point where this isn't fun anymore, then inevitably that grinder will need a favor at the end of the transaction, and the seller will say, you know what? I don't like you anymore. And that just kind of taints the whole experience. We had a deal not long ago where it was a sweet young couple, and my sellers wanted to give some of their furniture to the brand new buyers, first time buyers, but they ground them so hard through the deal. They said at the closing table, when I said, "Well, are you okay still about giving the furniture away?" And they said, "We'd burn this furniture first." Now, what did they gain in all that grinding? Nothing. You lose favor. You lose goodwill. So don't do that. My number one though, going back to the top of my list, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys letting me talk about this. Okay, seriously, guys, I have been this thing a long time, and I really truly believe, with all my heart, I want to protect the future of our industry. One of the ways we can do that is always helping our clients have a great experience as much as possible. You know the variables out there that we have to dodge, but here's number one. I think, don't be that agent that once licensed doesn't think continuing to learn is important to a long, successful career. Things like training events, coaching, reading recommended books on business, sales, leadership, real estate trends are all critical to your career's health, as is listening to other agents' experiences, agent expert panels, attending events like the Real Estate Blaze, etc. Certainly podcasts like this one, the Talk of Music City Real Estate, is important. But the success does leave clues. Let's make sure we're paying attention to those who've been successful.
It's huge. I think we also have to be coachable. Like, I'm top in my game, but I am always willing to learn. And with my group, we talk about success stories and lessons learned, because we can get better because we understood the lesson that we've learned. And I would love to have that situation happen to this loan officer, so I know how to handle it next time. Because in our industry, every scenario is going to pass our desk or virtual desk or whatever you want to call it multiple times. And, it's the same storyline over and over. It's just a different name, and a different emotional person that comes with it, right? And so that's important. But being open to learning new, and being comfortable with doing something different, and not just doing the same thing that we learned 20 something years ago.
Absolutely. Not in this world. You can't afford to, because it's changing rapidly.
Right.
It's really changing rapidly.
One of the best metaphors I ever heard for that was, when you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot.
Oh,
that's good.
So to end it, what is your favorite business book so far that you're reading right now?
I'm really, really loving Donald Miller. I think he's just absolutely one of the best. I just got done with a course on productivity, and it was such a learning thing of starting with the end in mind. Stephen Covey used to talk about that, starting with the end in mind, and write your obituary, and write the things. I mean, part of the creating the obituary is taking four people in your life right now, Carey Ann, and then a quote from them at your funeral. What are they saying about you? Okay. One of them that means a lot to me is, I put that Josh, my grandson, is going to be there, and his quote to me, to whoever it was, "Thank you, Grandpa, for helping my dad be the person I want to be."
Wow.
Because I want to make that kind of influence on my grandson. To do that, I had to make a really great influence on my son.
Sure.
So that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are you reading? What's your latest and greatest?
So I have been cheating lately. Instead of just reading full books, I've had that 12-minute app.
Oh.
To where you just get the like almost like the cliff notes of every book.
Wow.
So you just
What is that app? And you share it.
Yeah. So
That is so good.
The funny thing is, every morning it reminds me, and every night you can set alerts and stuff.
Download that quick.
Yep.
I am too.
Let me see. It's
What's it called?
That is so good.
It's called 12 MIN, 12 minute.
12 MIN, and it's all books and gives you the main points of the books.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really good. We had the Real Estate Blaze a couple weeks ago, and Jessie Scarlatta was on it. And this is what I love about being coachable. It doesn't matter which field you're in. But she referenced a book that changed her life, and I'm in the midst of it right now, called Essentialism. Have you read that book?
I have got it on tape. I started it.
Yeah.
It kind of wore me out a little bit, but I think it's really got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, you got to pick and choose. But again, what I love is hearing other people's books and then taking it on and seeing, how it can react and reflect. Because if you look at people that you want to be when you grow up, or you see that you really like their business model or how they do well in business, and if that helped them, maybe it'll help me. So that's another book. And then Giftology is the other one, because I love giving gifts. But how do you give gifts? You got to gift the right way. So I thought that was a cool book too that I'm in the midst of. If you haven't read that one, you should.
Who's the writer?
Good question. Look it up. I don't know. Giftology.
The author.
Oh, and the last one I will say, this is super easy because I'm not very good at reading. The Coffee Bean. The Coffee Bean. Have you read that book? Oh, I'm going to send it to you. So good. Be a coffee bean. Make a difference. I'm going to send everybody just coffee beans.
Oh, I do want to say something real quick. I know we got to wrap up here, but one thing that it's older, but it's very applicable even in now is give them the pickle. Have y'all ever heard of that? Read that?
Give them the pickle?
Give them the pickle.
Huh.
Brilliance.
I'm writing it down.
Start it today. It's brilliance. It's talking about customer service. Give them the pickle.
Yeah. I mean, I need to read that. I think it sounds familiar, but I love pickles, and I'm going to read about pickles, and I'm going to give them the pickle. I love it. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. It's always great having you as listeners, and if you are looking for more podcasts and more episodes, visit talkofmusiccity.com, but we're going to be back here next Monday. Can't wait to see you. Thanks for joining.